Ibunya di mana, Mem?
Di sini.
Buat apa?
Biar observasi dirimu dari situ.
Oh, berarti bukan di sini. Mem? Sebentar. Masih. Mas, profesornya di dalam.
Susilan.
Bisa nunggu
Jawab langsung.
Oke.
Nanti dapat demo lagi. Mulai Mas David.
Di kantoran. What? CCTV, oke. Kita minta pulang tuh dari itu. Right. So okay. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Right. Okay. So very good morning, everyone.
Morning, sir.
And how are you doing today?
Good.
Good. Okay. Right. First and foremost, before we begin with our micro teaching session today, I would like to thank every single one of you, for taking the time during the weekends to come to campus, and joining our micro teaching sessions. Right. So in these sessions, we are going to have some review and a brief discussions on, how we should and how we can use critical discourse analysis concepts, perspective, and theories to analyze real artifacts or real texts. I'm sorry. Okay, right. So this is what we're going to discuss today. FKIP three-dimensional approach to critical discourse analysis. Right. Nah, di semester sebelumnya, you have, taken critical discourse analysis, and this term you're taking another course, critical discourse analysis. But sometimes we are questioning what makes critical discourse analysis critical. Apakah cuma nambah critical and then it's going to be critical? No, right? Okay. There has to be some difference, some basic concepts that differentiate between discourse analysis and critical discourse analysis, right? Nah, that's going to be our topic today, right? So a way of viewing beyond text. Gimana sih kita bisa menggunakan CDA untuk melihat lebih dari sekedar teks, right? Now, first before we move on, I'm going to show you one pair of pictures, right? Okay, now please pay attention to the screen. We have two photographs, two pictures. Try to identify the meaning. Do these pictures deliver similar meaning, right? Take your time. I give you 2 days to do the analysis. Okay. Right. So, right. Okay. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Right. Okay. Now let's start with the one on the left. Right. What do you see here? What objects or people or figures do you see over here? Yeah, probably like businessmen and businesswomen. Okay, where are they actually? Yeah, they can be at the airport, right? Office, that's also possible. Is it also possible at a conference venue, for example? Yeah, right. One thing for sure, it's all about, is it about, social activities or professional activity? More like professional activity. How do you know it's related to professional activity? Dress code, uniform. They look so, professional, right? Professional, and, they look highly educated. Do you think so? Right. And can you guess where these people come from? Yeah. Probably in the US, Western people or Western countries. Kalau Western country kan banyak ya. Probably Canada, European countries also possible. Mostly Westerns, professionals, highly educated people. Now, what about the one on the right over here? Are these Western people? No. Oh, I see you over here, right? Okay, right. Sorry. So, what do you see? This is another Western people, but they are Asians. Do you think the one on the right, describes highly educated people? Do you think these people look professional? Do they look healthy and happy? No. Right? They look so sad and stressed. That's me anyway. that's that's they're actually very similar or different meaning between these two. Different, right? I think you have known the differences. So this one, professional, academic, highly educated, wealthy, right? Is it high class or low social class? Very high class. But this one, oh my goodness. Okay, very different, right? Our fellow Asian, partners or communities, sort of different. Now, can you guess where I get these pictures of photograph from? These ones are from textbooks, right? You remember the lesson, thank you. Okay, so let me show you. So these are actually, actual photograph and picture from, one single textbook on English language teaching, right? Now, can you imagine, right? Students in Indonesia, they learn English using these textbooks. In a sense, they will see that Western people are highly educated, wealthy, and they have very high social level. But our Indonesian students, Asians, they will see and probably they will believe that Indonesian people or Asian communities, they look so, look like in need, right? Very different. Okay. Now, if you think that that probably just coincidence, let me show you some other examples. This is not coincidence. And in this very problematic and sophisticated world, nothing is actually coincident, right? Let me show you some other examples. Okay. I'm sorry. Yeah. So those two pages, those two pictures are actually taken from this textbook, Life Elementary, right? So English textbook for elementary learners, like maybe like students in the elementary school or maybe like junior high schools, right? And this one is published by, can you read this?
Yes.
Right, yeah, okay. This one is actually published by National Geographic, right? Some other examples are this ones. Again, is it, a picture of an Asian guy? Again, it's going to be Western, right? If you look at the headline, exploring the deepest place on the earth, right? That, represents an achievement. Is it correct?
Yes.
Right, achievement. And then if you look at the submarine, what does it, represent? Technology or technological advancement. Technological advancement, technology, and then what else? Innovation. Innovation, it's strongly associated with exploration, science, and research. Is it correct?
Yes.
Western people, Western community, right? Another one, here we go. Making films in the wild. Again, this is not our Asian, fellow anyway. Another Westerner, making films in the wild. Making films in the wild. What does this headline or topic represent about Western people? Brave. They are brave. They like to exploring the forest, jungle, and the unknown, right? Adventurous, brave, curious, and he has some technology. Again, science, research, and innovation. Another one is, here we go, technology and change our life. Again, this, little tiny puny guy over here, right? Okay, playing with some telephone, right? Again, Western people, Western culture, Western product, technology. And you guys still remember who invented the telephone? Yeah, Alexander Graham Bell. Another Asian? Yeah, he is actually Scottish-born and Canadian-American inventor, scientist, researcher. Okay, right. Right. Again, Western is all about Western, Western, and Western. No Asians, right? Last one. Here we go. Okay, it's a woman. It's a picture of a woman, and he's wearing, a space suit. Again, it's related to NASA. Thank you so much. What do this picture represent? Technology again, right? And then what about the involvement of female? Yeah, gender. Because in the past, astronauts were mostly males, right? But this one, it's kind of different. So Western people, Western values, gender equality, right? These are some values, some beliefs, and ideologies that may not be clear and easily understood to students and also to teachers, right? Jadi kalau biasanya kita pakai, okay, this is going to be a very highly well-developed English textbook, published by some Western companies or institutions, kita kan langsung pakai, this is going to be valid, this is going to be a very good resource, right? At least that happened in my time, right? But actually, as a teacher and you, as a future English teachers, you need to be aware of the ideologies, beliefs, and values in English textbooks. Because, like I said earlier, nothing is actually neutral, nothing is actually coincident, right? Everything has a purpose, be it hidden or, obvious. Okay? Right. Can I go now? Yes. Can I go now or can I go home? Right. I'm sorry. I just cannot resist, Right? So we have 3 different learning objectives over there. Akan coba kita pelajari. Identifying the concepts of CDA principles, right? This is going to be a brief introduction, and then after that, after identification, we'll try to analyze, all right? Kemudian, last one is using FKIP three-dimensional approach. So whenever we talk about CDA, there are actually so many concepts and theories that we have to learn. But in this very brief sessions, we are going to focus on this one only, right? Let me just go on. Okay, nah kalau tadi kan kita lihat beberapa sample materials from like Western countries or Western institutions, but the same thing sometimes also happens in our country, sadly. Okay, now again, could you please help me to identify the meanings or belief ideologies based on this picture or book cover? Anybody? Raise your hand. What meaning do you get from this single cover? What can you see? We have British flag. We have the picture of what else? Big Ben and a taxi, right? What else? And bahasa Inggris untuk SMA, MA kelas 10, right? What meanings can you identify from this picture?
It looks like English is only from British.
Yeah.
Yes.
English is only from British, from UK, Britain. Okay. Thank you so much, Bella. What else? Anybody can add to our ideas about the meaning from this cover? Yeah, Atta, please.
I think that the cover indicates that the teacher must teach the student how to speak English like the native instead of speaking English like our native.
Okay. Right. Okay. Thank you. Yeah. Right. British, we have to speak like native speakerism. So in order to be a very good English learner, our students need to speak like Harry Potter. Right? Okay. Right. If it is not Harry Potter, that is not correct. That is not acceptable. Right? Jadi I think that's going to be quite different. Jadi kalau misalnya kita ngajar vocabulary ke anak-anak SMP atau di MTS tuh, alright students, do you know what I have inside this bottle? Mereka langsung bilang, wow, okay, right, okay. Do not water. Padahal kalau di kita kan, bayangkan anak SMP SD, kalau misalnya kita ajarkan water dengan For example, which one is easily understandable for them? Water. Because, it sounds more Indonesian in a sense, right? But this one, tries to endorse native speakerism, British English, right? Near native-like pronunciation. Sekarang bayangkan deh, can we teach our students to achieve native-like pronunciation within like lessons once in a week? That sounds like mission impossible to me, right? Okay, right. Again, this is not a coincidence. This one is actually published in 2018, also 2018 again. Again, we was identifying the pictures on the second book cover. What landmarks do you see? Right, okay, we have Mona's. We have Opera House. Yeah, okay. Is it pyramid or pyramid? A pyramid. Then we're going to pyramid. Okay, right. Okay, let's say so. Right. Okay, so we have several landmarks, several different wonders of the world. Right. Nah, kalau tadi kan yang first one, this one, British English, native speakerism. This is it also about British English and native speakerism? No. This one is more about global, right? Global English. So let's say this one, American English, right? And then what else? Australian. And then this one, Indonesian English, right? Okay, okay. Thank you. Right, yeah, I think that's going to be a very good example. Jaksel, right? Itu kan mulai ada agak ada like blending between Indonesian and English in their own grammar of English, right? Kan beda ya, okay? So this is going to be quite different, and it actually also happens in Jember. Right, ada nggak apa tuh? Saya pernah lihat, I think, yeah. Down to. Is it in your house anyway? Right. Okay. Right. Okay. Can you see this? Handwriting. Can you read my handwriting? Right. Down to milk. I'm sorry. We have auxiliary. We have to, and then we have noun. Right. If you try to look at it, from grammar perspective, is it correct? Is it acceptable? Is it meaningful? What does it mean to you? Ini kan ada di mana tuh, di sekitar Unmuh sana ya, right? Down to milk. Kalau kita pakai grammar English, this is very difficult to understand. Tapi kalau kita lihat dari Japanese English atau Jemberese English, right? Down to milk. Ojo ke susu, right? Atau jangan keburu, kalau mungkin ada teman-teman kelahiran French over here, okay? Right? Jadi jangan keburu atau jangan terburu-buru. That's kind of Jemberese English in a sense, right? And last one, this is the latest one. Again, this is going to be quite different. We have students of different cultures, different tribes over here. What do these represent anyway? Yeah, diversity. Diversity in terms of ethnicities, and then cultures and religions. Karena ada yang pakai hijab. Right, okay, we have different. And then also the teachers over here, right? We have one female and male. So do these have meaning as well? Right, okay. And then also we have globe, right? Nothing is actually coincident. There are meanings, right? We are going to look at that in more details, right? First, before we go on to the FKIP three-dimensional approach, we're going to have some brief overview about the principle of CDA. What actually makes CDA different from discourse analysis? Okay, right. The first one is purposeful linguistic structures and features, right? Language has structure, right? Grammatical structure, morphological structure. Habis itu apa lagi tuh? If you write syntactical structure, and then what else? If you have essays, you have paragraph, you have like chapters in your thesis, for example, we have apa tuh? Sorry? Yeah, we have coherence. Coherence is strongly related to apa tuh? What kind of structure? Is it syntactical structure? Kalau ada introduction, discussion, conclusion, that's rhetorical structure. We have many structures, right? So in discourse analysis or critical discourse analysis, language itu dia selalu punya features and structures, dan itu bisa kelihatan dari words, syntax, expressions, and all the language properties. Many, right? Say for example, when you talk to your friends, do you use very formal, professional English? No, you use like casual English, right? Kadang kita malah cuman pakai like facial English, right? Okay. Right. Kadang karena we have very strong emotional, spiritual bonding, smile means a lot between you, right? Okay. So this one, linguistic features. And then also language, in language use, always has some structure, like structure A, component A, and then B, C, and D. Take for example, in a classroom, what is the first kind of communication in a classroom session? Say for example by the teacher. Yeah, whenever teacher comes to a class and he is going to greet and open the class. Bukan, okay, I'm going to close the class right now. Okay. Right, open the session, greeting the students, and then explaining the setting induction. Okay, right, setting induction, micro teaching, setting induction, and then after setting induction, what else? Yeah, we have explanation. This is the concepts. This is the theories. This is the task. This is the homework. All right, and then after that, in the end, it's going to be closing, structure. And can you reorganize those structures? For example, we start a class with a closing. Is it possible? Yeah. Although that is what we wanted, right? Okay, right. Biasanya kalau siswa itu apalagi sudah jam like 12 o'clock in the afternoon. Oh my goodness, right? Okay. They look so hungry and tired. They expect teachers to end the class right away, but that is not possible, right? Because that's how language is used in action. Yang nggak pernah kita rubah, right? And then last one, multimodality. It comes from the word modality or modal. Right. Whenever we take part in communication, how many mediums that we usually use anyway? Like right now, I'm using what kind of channel or medium? Spoken communication. And then if I write it, and if it is picture, visual modality, right? Everything has meaning, and if it has meaning, then it's going to be seen as a text. Jadi text is not always written language or written text. Anything, spoken communication, pictures, like ini nih yang bisa mau pakai di WhatsApp, emoticon, stickers, right? Stickers. I think some students have very unique stickers, right? Right. Jadi stickers only have meaning, right? Sometimes there are only stickers that are used by some group of students, right? Okay, this is common, right? So we share the language, we share the resource with our friends in our circle. That's language, right? Okay. Kemudian next one, here we go. Now, in critical discourse analysis, we always use language in context, right? So language is always, in harmony with context, right? Say, for example, when you are with your friends at a cafe, you're going to use like casual language, right? Are you going to use like, formal, polite English at a cafe? Misalkan gini deh, for example, Garissa, would you please be so kind to take the salt for me, please? For example, no, we don't use that kind of polite language at a cafe with our friends, right? Jadi context itu selalu affects our language. So in context itu at least ada beberapa komponen di sini. We have agents. So agents is about the people, individuals who are involved, right? And then we also have space. Space means the place. Where does it take place, right? Because every single space has different communication, right? Misalkan kamu denger ini deh, when you hear a conversation in a TOEFL listening session, misalkan ada dua speakers, and the first one says, "Excuse me, sir, how can I help you?" And the second speaker says, "I'd like to cash a check, please." Okay, where does it take place anyway? In a bank. How do you know it's a bank anyway? We have check, and then we have cash, right? That's typically in a bank. It's not going to be in the classroom, in a kitchen, or restaurant, no, right? So different agent space, and we also have genre, right? Kayak tadi itu teacher talk, kemudian a client, and also a bank teller talk, for example. Those are only some of the examples of genre. Ada banyak sekali genres in our daily life. Television, ads, comedy, YouTube, we have so many genres, right? And specific communication also has specific time. Like teacher talk only happens during the classroom sessions, right? Not outside the classroom session. If it is outside the classroom session, then it's going to be the casual conversations, right? And the last one we have channel. Ini tadi yang sudah kita bahas tuh, channel or the modality. We have text, we have spoken, we have visual, and sometimes we have like multimodal. If it is multimodal, then everything is used in combination. Like, can you give me one example of multimodal communication? Video, YouTube, Instagram. Anybody here has Instagram account? Yes. Absolute must, right? Okay. Right. Okay. That's going to be quite common. Now, in critical discourse analysis, we pay attention to each one of these, right? Okay. Now, let me show you one example. Here we go. Right. So the next principle of CDA is language as a representation of social process, right? We have two different headlines about the same topic from two different websites. Can you guess what they are all about? Can you give me one keyword from those two headlines? Migrants. Immigrants, okay? From? China. Yeah, probably from China, okay? And then, right, now I'm going to ask you, which one is neutral, okay? Which one has, negative stereotypes? The one from Fox News or which one is neutral? Diplomat, what do you think? Diplomat is negative, right? Okay. What about Garisha and Haris? Which one is neutral? Diplomat is neutral, right? Would you mind telling us why do you think it's neutral? Do you identify any like negative words? Neutral or negative? Maybe you can identify which one has negative words, for example. Which one? Which word has national security concerns? Jadi kalau menurut diplomat, menurut dari Chinese migrants or migrants, they are seen as a threat to national security. Is that correct? That's how they frame, that's how they picture, Chinese. Right? And this one, more of, neutral perspective. Why are more and more Chinese risking their life? Risking their life. Berarti mereka dianggap atau dia sebagai subjects atau people yang need, they need protection, they need help, they need support, right? So this is quite different anyway, right? Jadi language again actually represents social process. Now, in these two news, There are agents. Kan berita itu kok masih ada yang nulis kan ya? Ada yang bikin website-nya, ada yang sharing website-nya, ada yang distribute the details. There are agents. And my question is, do you think everybody has equal access to make these headlines? No, right? That's a problem. Some people, they have power, they have authority, they have like the right to make the headlines. And whenever they have power, they can also affect, people understanding and knowledge. Is that correct?
Yes.
Right. This is going to be quite common. Okay. So imagine Indonesian people or Indonesian students reading news with this topic, for example. Do you think the students will have positive or negative perception about? Yeah, negative. Right. Because they will see the Chinese as a threat to national security. Right. Okay. Before we move on, do you have any questions before we proceed? No. All right. Okay. We are going to have the discussion shortly. Right. The last one, language for maintaining power and control. Tadi kan sempat kita bahas tuh, people, different agents, institutions, they have power and authority, right? And they want to maintain that power and control because they want to share their belief and ideologies, with people, right? So in critical discourse analysis, social power, is always negotiated, right? Now, social power itu bentuknya banyak. One of which is the access to information. That's, social power or social resource. Another one is the access to education, access to what else? Entertainment, access to what else? Sorry? Environment, yeah. And then access to, if you want to get a job, for example, access to, employment, for example. That's, social power. Sometimes social power is institutionally enacted. Jadi dia memang dibikin atau ditentukan oleh people atau group who are in charge, right? Sometimes also shared. Misalnya kayak ini nih, seperti di professional context, manager, and also employee. Do they have the same discourse access? No. Who is dominant? The manager. There is unequal power relation. Now, what about in a class, in a discussion, group discussions between you and your friends? Who is more dominant, or anybody is equal? Anybody is equal. Because everybody has the right to share their ideas, right? That's different, power relation, okay? Right. Now, this is what we're going to talk about, the effect of three-dimensional approach. In the previous slides, we have tried to analyze pictures, visuals, meanings, and ideologies, right? Jadi itu sebenarnya sekilas tentang effect of three-dimensional approach. It starts from the small context or small scope, like the text. So we focus on the text, the language, and at the broader scope, we have discourse level, and the largest scope is society. In society, we see how language and society, works in harmony, right? Okay, so there is the description. Jadi di level text or micro, we have description of text. We analyze spoken, written or visual resource. And then this one, at the level of meso or interpretation, we try to interpret discourse, practice, production, consumption, and distribution. Jadi gimana sih sebuah language, information, atau meaning itu dia disebarluaskan from one party to another. And then the last one, explanation. Jadi di tahap yang paling akhir, we try to explain the relationship between discourse and social and cultural reality. Let me just go on first. Some example again. Okay. Are you familiar with these pictures?
Yes.
Yeah, multiple times, right? Okay. Right. We have some pictures from one single textbook over here, right? This one, do you think this is a student?
No.
Doctoral student. Okay. No, okay, let's say teacher, right? So we have a picture of teacher, and this one, Yeah, okay, this QT student and this one also students, right? Like we said, like we discussed previously, nothing is neutral, everything has meaning. What do you think about the first picture? What about can you please guess the ethnicity? Chinese, do you have any prediction about the religion? Probably, yeah, probably not Muslim, okay, right? But he's a teacher. Teacher Chinese in Indonesia, and probably he's not Muslim. What can you guess? What can you predict from this picture? We need to respect. Yeah, we need to respect diverse ethnic people from different ethnic. And this one, I think, is going to be quite clear. You know, the little student with the pasmina over there. What do you guess? Yeah, respect for, again, different religions. And last one, but not the least, respect for gender differences. Because anybody can take part in education. You know, boys, girls, Muslims, or probably non-Muslims, Javanese, perhaps, or Balinese, for example. Anybody can take part. Okay, so from critical discourse analysis, we can understand that actually all Indonesian citizens have access to education, regardless of their religion, their culture, their tribe, economic, social class, and so on and so on and so on. Okay, right. Now we will try to focus on this one anyway. Right. Okay. So this is actually the micro-dimension or textual analysis, right? At the level of text, we identify what is obvious. Apa sih yang nampak di dalam sebuah language atau discourse? Okay, so here at this level, we focus on the keywords, grammar, and probably tone in the slogan. Okay, for example, yang paling nampak apa dulu tadi itu? These students, right? Gender, equalities, right? Habis itu apa lagi? Respectful, different religion, different ethnicity, different cultures. Okay. Now, what about this one? Think globally and act locally. Think globally. What do you think? What can you conclude from that phrase? Artinya anak-anak yang belajar bahasa Inggris itu mereka diharapkan supaya ya berpikir maju tapi tetap apa tuh? Berpikir maju tapi tidak maju benar. Berpikir maju tapi juga tetap act locally. Yeah, they need to maintain their identity. You may have, you know, like a very broad knowledge about science and everything in different countries, but in the end, you remain, you know, Indonesian students or Indonesian people, right? That's first one. Kemudian dia ini termasuk statement apa tuh? What about the structure? Think locally, act locally. Is it a question? No. Comment? Okay. Could you please be more specific about the comment? Is it like declarative or positive sentence or positive structure? Think. Itu dia termasuk informasi atau persuasi itu? Yeah, it's like persuasion, right? Artinya anak-anak itu mereka didorong, dimotivasi supaya mereka, you know, they think globally. Dan kalau misalnya kita memberikan support, motivation to our students, it means that our students have what? They have knowledge, and then what else? They have opportunities, right? And what else? They have knowledge, they have opportunities, they have access, they have potential, right? That's the meaning. Bahwa anak-anak kita itu punya competence. They come to class with something to share, bukan sebagai like small empty class and to fill in. Okay? That's from the first point or the first level, the text. Kita hanya menganalisa, what is the obvious point over here. And the next one we have the meso dimension or the process analysis. Sorry. Right, here we go. Again, the same picture but different angle, different viewpoints. At the meso dimension, we focus on the production, consumption, and distribution of discourse. Nah, beberapa poin yang bisa kita analisa itu misalkan ini nih. First one, who is the intended audience of this book? Only students and teachers? Students and teachers in which part of Indonesia? Right, like in every region. Because this book is actually published by Kemendikbud. Right. Kalau Kemendikbud kan dia level sudah national. Berarti like every student, Sabang, Merauke, anybody, Jember, Situbondo, Bondowoso semua masukannya, okay. Like this book is actually for everyone, right? And then what meaning do the audience interpret from the cover or slogan? Yeah, again, diversity. English for everyone, right? And English is all about any culture. Gak hanya tentang British or American English, Australian, for example. It could be about anything, right? And then next point, compare the slogan with other educational discourses, right? Kalau sekarang kan banyak ya educational concepts, like in the 21st centuries, dia nyambung nggak dengan ideologi lain yang ada di luar Indonesia, for example? Any global values? Are you familiar with the concept of education, where every student can take part? Itu apa namanya tuh? Yeah, you can say like student-centered learning. Thank you. And then boys and girls, Muslims, and also students with disabilities, right? Itu sebutnya apa tuh? We have inclusivity or inclusive education. That's the point, right? We have many. Kemudian take a look at this. Ini kan dia sebenarnya buku atau cover untuk mata pelajaran bahasa Inggris. But we have we have this one. We have musical instrument. We have we have gears. We have, what is it? Magnifying. Ya, oke. Kita bilangnya loop ya, oke. Like magnifying glass, right? Loh, kenapa di buku bahasa Inggris ada gambar-gambar tentang like musical instruments? Ini kan semua berkaitan sama science ya. Berarti yang dibahas, is it only about language?
No.
Could be about other subjects or other disciplines. Berarti pembelajaran dalam bahasa Inggris itu dia bakal berupa monodisiplin or multidisiplin. Multidisciplines. Like when you were in senior high school, kamu kemarin ketika di senior high school di mana tuh? Is it in Indonesia or in Portugal? Indonesia kan ya, okay. Right. Ada nggak topik dari pembelajaran bahasa Inggris di SMA itu yang kamu ingat? Yang dia tuh kok kayaknya nggak berkaitan sama bahasa Inggris, tapi it's presented in English. I'm sorry?
We discussed fish.
Fish. Is it about from scientific perspective?
No, from the type of like how they can be eaten.
Oh, okay. Like fish for consumption. Right. Itu mungkin lebih ke IPA ya. IPA tapi juga bisa IPS ya. Biology. Thank you. Right. Habis itu apa lagi selain fish, production, consumption, what else? Yang di SMA tuh, tapi topik bahasa Inggris yang ada di SMA? Music. We have music. Ada nggak mungkin dulu kamu SMA-nya bahas tentang ini apa tuh tsunami for example?
Yes.
Right. Ini kebanyakan anak IPA semua ya berarti. Ilmu pengetahuan akhlak nih berarti kan. Right. That's it. So English is actually, integrated with other discipline, right? Jadi kesimpulannya ketika kamu mengajar bahasa Inggris, kita boleh nggak hanya fokus ke English? You need to be aware of scientific issues, social issues, political issues, environmental issues, economic issues, many issues. Okay, right. Right. The last one. This is a macro dimension. Oops. Okay. We have few questions over here. Ada beberapa ideologi di sini. Kalau dari pembahasan sebelumnya, ada inclusive education, respect for cultural diversity, religious diversities, right? Ada beberapa values atau belief di sini. Yang pertama tuh top-down dissemination of education. Can you make sense how this book represents top-down dissemination of education? Dia ini diterbitkan sama guru nggak? Diterbitkan sama from the ministry, like institution at the higher level to schools, teachers, and students, top down, right? So who has the authority? Ya, Kemendikbud, right? Kan nggak mungkin ya guru yang menerbitkan buku sendiri. Jadi kayak guru SMA ini ada buku sendiri, SMA lain ada sendiri. Sounds like very difficult. And then also it focuses on intercultural learning, right? So everybody in the class from different cultures they can take part. Are you also familiar with neoliberalism? No. Yeah, Zaki.
So, may I use religion?
Sure.
So, neoliberalism itu seperti mata ekonomi.
Okay.
Di teori ekonomi yang diterapkan di pendidikan, seperti itu kurang lebih. Jadi mungkin untuk buku ini ada unsur-unsur ekonomi yang tidak terlihat di mata, yang tidak terlihat di mata lah.
Okay. Unsur ekonominya kayak apa misalnya untuk Zaki? Like, can you give me one example?
Mungkin agak menyelam sedikit karena ini buku dari Praktek biasanya gratis nih.
Okay.
Tapi kalau buku yang lain seperti LKS ada biaya yang harus dikeluarkan untuk membeli buku.
Okay. Right. That makes sense. Thank you. Right. That's correct. That's like concept from economy, neoliberalism. From this perspective, every student has competence and they have to be competitive. Karena kalau mereka nggak kompetitif, mereka nggak akan dapat job. So this is very market driven. And this one also blending global and local values. Kira-kira ada value lain nggak atau ada ideologi lain nggak that you can identify from this cover? Like one value, for example? Any values, ideology that you can get from that cover? Atau semua sudah ada di situ tuh? Are you familiar with the 21st century education concept? Kan biasanya ada yang bilang 4 C's. 4 C's itu terdiri dari apa aja tuh? Communication. Habis itu apa lagi? Kalau competence, the competence. Awalnya itu ada yang 4 C's, then we have 6 C's. This one we have cultures, communication, creativity, and criticality. This, all about 21st century concepts, right? So those are, 3 concepts or 3 dimensions in CDA. Tadi yang awal apa aja tuh? The 3 dimensions of critical discourse analysis. Micro level. Di micro level kita fokus ke text, and then slightly at the broader level, setelah micro, we have meso structure. Meso structure focuses on discourse production, consumption, distribution. Last one, this one. Okay. Now we're going to have like a pair work. Deva mungkin nanti bisa join sama Novel and also Atta. Okay. So we're going to have brief discussions or pair work here. I need you to try to analyze this book cover using the same concepts, right? So we have 3 different steps. Step 1, description. You need to focus on the word choice and their impact. Also pay attention to sentence structure and rhetorical device. Dan jangan lupa mungkin ini nih, the visual resources. Alright, and then step 2, interpretation. Next one we have simulations. We have provided the worksheet over there. Okay, so please take a look at the details. Right, and later on, I'm going to invite you to share your ideas on Padlet. Okay, Jadi di worksheet yang sudah teman-teman punya, you have details, also procedure, and a rubric, right? So you can share your roles with your friends first. Maybe we can have like 10 to 15 minutes, right? Okay. Okay. I'm sharing the link to the Padlet. Okay. But in the meantime, please keep going on with your discussions. Sorry. Okay. We have shared the link to the Padlet via WhatsApp. Please check your WhatsApp group. Do you have any question about the details? Yeah, I'm sorry, I think it's not quite visible from this part. I can. I think it's also available on the worksheet, right? Excuse me. Yeah, here we go. Let me check. It's not quite visible from there. Sorry. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I think it's this one. Let's carry on. Do you want me to share the pictures of the book cover?
Yes.
Sorry. Yeah. Would you mind checking the WhatsApp group of our intercultural communication and also the micro teaching WhatsApp group? Because I think some of you are taking different classes. Okay. We have shared the cover and the picture. Have you received the screenshot of the PowerPoint? Right, okay. Right. I think we're gonna have like 5 minutes left for the analysis. You can share your roles with your partner. Right. Very comprehensive. Thank you. Keep going. Okay. Maybe you can just take 1 point from each level. Okay. So 1 point for micro analysis, and then 1 point at the meso analysis, for example. Okay. So we can keep the rest for the homework. That's okay. I think you're doing good. No problem. I can just like scan and feel your writing. I mean, like we have the same style of writing. Yeah. I'm gonna need my Sharingan, I guess. Okay. Yeah, I think you share your job. That's okay. So Deva is doing step 1 and 3, and Atta and Zaki step 1 and 2. That's okay. I think step 1 is nicely done. Right. We've got 3 minutes left. Okay. Right. That's on the first step, is it? Okay. Okay. Right. So you have started the second step, the interpretation. Okay. Right. Okay. If you already prepared the analysis results on your worksheet, you can just take a picture of your handwriting later on and then share the photo via Padlet. So you don't have to type your responses later on. Okay. Right. Yeah, I think that makes sense. What about the device? You know, those students, yeah. Does it have meaning to the fact that these students have some technological devices with them?
They are not keterbelakangan.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Okay.
Teknologi device. Teknologi. Satu nggak? Gambar. Itu termasuk satu.
Yeah, that's in the first one. First one. Okay. I think we've got 2 minutes left, everyone.
Itu 10 sampai 15 menit diatur waktu ini closing.
Oh, in 10 minutes.
Iya.
Okay.
10 menit lagi selesai.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Right. May I please have your attention? Right. I believe that you have, like so much to share and a lot of ideas to share with the whole class. But due to time limitation, I think you just focus on one single point at each level. Okay. One point to share at each level. Perfect. Okay. Right. So you can keep the rest for a further discussion later on post class. Right. Yang tadi punyanya siapa? Punyanya Deva sama punya Zaki. If it is possible and if you don't mind, we would like to invite you to take a picture of your writing and share it via Padlet. Okay. Okay. So, would you please? Boleh di screenshot di foto atau if you want to type it, that's also acceptable. I think we should bring a big keyboard, right? Okay, so we have Bella and Yusa. Thank you. Right, so 1, 2, 3. These correspond to level 1, 2, and 3. Thank you. Okay. Good. Thank you. Okay, that makes sense. All right. Thank you. So Bella and Yosa already have the chapter 1, 2, and 3. Right. Yeah, I think this is quite comprehensive and accurate from the perspective of Python three-dimensional approach. Okay, we're waiting for the rest of the class to share your results. Thank you. We have one pictures. This one from Atta and Friends. Yeah, we can. I think we can click it. Sorry. Okay. Oh, no problem. Yeah. I think I need my phone to check. No, I mean like is the screen, not the writing. Okay. Right. Let me check. Okay. Thank you. Okay. So Ada and Friend has two different pictures over there. Okay. Yeah, we can read the writings using our mobile phone. Thank you. Right. Would you please be quick? Thank you. Okay. Right, we're still waiting for Tiara, Audin, and then ada Kia and Bila. We also have Gersha and Haris. And siapa namanya dek? What's your name? Sorry? Fania and? Fania and Zara. Okay. Right. Okay. Thank you, Audin and Tiara. Okay. Pancasila. Right. So English for change. All right, okay. Very good. Opportunities, future, values, power dynamics. I really love the words. Thank you. Right. Now can you please share your works immediately? Right, we have Zara and Fania. Thank you so much. Right. Career opportunities. Thank you. Okay. Right. Lovely. Thank you. Okay. We've got Kia and Garisha and friends. I think you can just keep it brief. Thank you. We have, right, next one comes from Garisha and Haris. Okay, thank you. Bila bisa. Okay, Bila di sini. Okay, yeah, I think I missed that one. I'm sorry. Right, okay. Now can I please have your attention? Last point before we end up our session today. So first, thank you for sharing your analysis and ideas on the book cover. Right, we noticed several, like common ideas, right? So now from Bila and Yosa on the textual analysis, right? English for change, right? ada beberapa groups yang juga fokus on English for change, meaning that students can achieve broader and wider opportunities, right? Because they have freedom. Makes sense, right? Especially with the technology. If student has technology, so knowledge, science, information is already in their hand, right? Jadi yang knowledgeable itu gak hanya teachers, but also students in a sense, right? So they have more freedom and authority in the current English language teaching. And then let's try to have a look at this one. Yeah, step 2. Yeah, step 2 also. Nah, I mean, something wrong with my laptop, no problem. Okay. No problem. Yeah, I think I just need to upgrade it and update the software. Yeah, usually it works okay. Right, Ata and friends, step 2, ada Pancasila and Bhinneka Tunggal Ika. Would you mind clarifying the detail? Anybody from this group? Zaki? Okay, so you write Pancasila and Bhinneka Tunggal Ika. What do those words mean to you?
From our point of view, it's just simply because there are at least four students in the
Background.
yeah, in the background, and I think that it's itu sebuah bentuk realisasi dari Pancasila dan juga semua ras yang ada di Indonesia tuh menjadi satu.
Okay.
There's nggak ada permasalahan lah, tidak ada isu dari kegiatan tersebut.
Thank you so much. Right, well done. Thank you. So Pancasila and Bhinneka Tunggal Ika. English, has to be based on the teachings of 5 pillars or Pancasila. Thank you, Zaki and friends. Now let's try to have a look at another one. Ada dari Zara and Fania. Zara and Fania tadi menyampaikan ini dia. Ada, okay, this one is nice. The visual students, mana dia? Okay, over here. Visual students using technology, holding books, cell phone, and racket. Right. It highlights skills, not only in one subject, in one discipline, in many disciplines, and then also it represents teamwork and global awareness. Again, diversity. Kemudian juga ada, ini nih, this one is also nice from Kia and Bila. Point number 3, at the macro level, this cover show power relations depicted through the role of teachers and mentors. Jadi guru juga tidak hanya menjadi like the sage on the stage, right? The one who knows everything, anything, but also students, right? So student is seen as an active subject, right? Jadi nggak hanya datang ke kelas and then they have to be told over and over again. They have something to share, right? So thank you again. Also the same response from Audin and Tiara. Ini tadi, ideology and power, dynamics. So students can achieve better future, better opportunities. Last one but not the least, Garisha and also Haris over here, right? Again, diversity. So English is not a means of learning a language, but a means of maintaining unity, maintaining, active development, students' development. They can develop as a human being, language learners, citizens, any identities, right? So now let's try to wrap up our session today. So from our analysis, here we go. I hope. So from there, we know that in CTA, we not only focus on language, right? Tadi ada beberapa guru yang menyatakan Pancasila, Bhinneka Tunggal Ika, habis itu ada opportunities, futures. Do you think those are concepts in language learning? Those are beyond language. Just like we said, economy. Politics, is it also involved? Economy involved? Sociology? Technology? Many things are involved in English language teaching today, right? So in CDA, we relies on multi-perspectivity. Jadi kita nggak hanya melihat language atau communication from language perspective. Sama kayak ini tadi tuh. Kalau kita lihat dari grammatical perspective, this is wrong. But from, socio-cultural and socio-linguistic perspective, this has meaning to us Jimburis. Okay, right? And then also the object of CDA can be, literally anything. Can be a person, document, or text. And then last one, aim to understand social, cultural, and political problem. CDA seeks to create a solution. One example is gender bias. In the past, it was only men who had access to education, employment, technology, vote, politics, government, men, everywhere. But with these books, boys and girls, they have the same access to education, employment, career, promotion, mostly in every single aspect of life, right? So actually in CDA, we need to be very aware of any social issues that happen outside the class, right? Do you have anything to raise or questions before we end up the session today? No? Right, okay. So I think that will be all then. Thanks so much for your attention, good work, and also sharing your ideas. We're going to meet again later next week with another focus on our class. So that's it. Thank you so much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Okay. Thank you so much. Right. Thank you. It's a pleasure. Okay.